My name is Christie Sampson. I am a postdoc at the University of Calgary, where I am studying bull trout and all of the aquatic environments around Alberta and up into the Yukon, and trying to figure out how we can conserve these really crucial habitats that are so important for all of the people and also all of the species. The primary one has been this eDNA project. So we're looking for environmental DNA, and that is pretty much any animal, any plant, anything with DNA sheds it into the environment. So being able to go out and get them without actually having to lay hands on the fish is very important because we don't disturb them, but we're able to tell if they're in the environment. We don't know where all the trout are. So in order to prioritize where we're going to put our effort into habitat restoration, into conservation, and really informing people, we need to figure out where they are in the water. Trout are a very sensitive species. They have what we call the 4 Cs. They need cold, clear water that is in a complex habitat and connected to other water bodies. So by protecting a species such as trout, we're actually protecting a whole bunch of other species within the ecosystem. Here in Alberta, trout are impacted by things like habitat fragmentation, lots of water pollution. As I said, they need really clear water, but also things like climate change. Another big issue is the kind of invasive species or hybridizing with the brook trout. So they create an offspring that can't really survive. They don't continue populating, but they do compete for habitat, they compete for food. So making sure that we're removing as many invasive species as possible and kind of keeping that niche available. So damming up waterways so that they can't pass through, so things like hanging culverts and road construction, but then also grazing and having cattle kind of move through the water. Cows and Fish has great partnerships with a lot of those farmers, trying to keep the waterways clear and kind of gated off in certain areas so that we can protect both the fish while still using the land and working with people coexisting in the same space. We're reaching a critical point in the fight to save trout, and really a lot of the other aquatic ecosystem and the aquatic species that are here in Alberta with the ongoing development of Alberta's resources, the human expansion, climate change that is happening in Canada and across the world. Now is the time to really step up the fight and protect these iconic Albertan species.
My name is Elliott Fox. I'm from the Kainai First Nation in southern Alberta, or also known as the Blood Tribe. This is, it's called the Blackfoot Confederacy Native Trout Recovery Project. So we're focused on the native trout in Alberta that are native to the streams. So there's a threshold of water temperature that trout can survive in. And so we just monitor the streams just to see how cold they are and how warm they get. You know, one of the main objectives is, well, they're native fish. They're important to the Blackfoot people. They're important to a lot of other nations and people too. And so, you know, if cutthroat or bull trout especially, if they're still there, that indicates that that stream is probably still in pretty good shape. And then if they're gone, there's usually a reason, right? But there's been so many impacts in the past from, you know, land development, over-harvesting, reintroduction of non-native species. So it's really cumulative, a cumulative effect that it's had on the native trout. And their populations have declined steadily for probably the past 50 years or longer. What we're also trying to do is we're trying to weave traditional Blackfoot knowledge, some of our knowledge in how we used to manage these species, with Western science to try to give the public an idea of an appreciation for both traditional and current Western science and management. There's still some hope in some of the streams. There's still pretty good population numbers, but it seems like they are still declining, so we're just hoping through our project and through public education that people will learn, you know, and adjust some of the land uses that are really impactful to those streams. So, I think if the government and the public and some of the non-government organizations, and in this case, some of the Blackfoot nations, if we can help just keep the discussion going on, okay, if we all want this landscape here and healthy for our kids and our grandkids, then we have to do something better than we are now, or they won't be here in the future. So